Hello, I'm Nick from Quit With Nick. Another video to help smokers prepare to quit, etc. Stay till the end of this video because it could actually save you a lot of disappointment. So what I'm going to share in this video are the reasons why hypnosis didn't work. Whether you've gone to see someone else or look, possibly even with me, right? So there isn't one method that works for everyone, and every method has worked for thousands of people. We're all different. So what I'm going to do is, firstly, I'm going to go through the reasons other than you. So let's say you walked out of a hypnosis session and it did absolutely nothing. I'm going to go through the reasons why firstly, that it had nothing to do with you. And then I'm going to go through reasons why it may have been you. And then I'll sort of combine the two in the end. So start to the end. Now, okay, if you've had the experience where you've walked out of a session and you feel like it's done nothing at all, actually, I'm even going to backtrack a little bit. If you've walked out of a session and you have felt even a little bit of difference, and you know that you're feeling a little more in control over the urge to have a cigarette or a vape, then it did do something. It's not quite fair to say it did nothing or it didn't work if you feel a slight difference. Now, regardless of who a smoker may go and see, I'd like to think it doesn't happen every time, surely, where someone goes, as long as that hypnotherapist cares even a tiny bit about what they do and they've been even just reasonably trained, and assuming you're in the right headspace, you've brought your bits to the party, like your commitment and you're serious and you're not quitting for the wrong reasons, etc. I don't think that happens very often, where absolutely no difference, nothing, I lit up a smoke. But look, obviously it can happen, right? So that's worth saying. If you felt some difference, you felt some level of control, then it did do something. Now, if it's done nothing at all, then let me go through a few reasons why that might have happened. Firstly, the therapist probably didn't do a thorough phone assessment or didn't really get to know you before booking you in, because a good therapist who puts you through a good process is going to get to know a bit about you to make sure that's not going to happen. Which is exactly what I do. It's pretty rare someone slips under my radar and they come to see me and then it hasn't worked for them. It's pretty rare. Look, I've done this 15 years. I've seen over 5,000 smokers. I was a smoker for 12 years myself. I've been a therapist for 30 odd years, worked in drug and alcohol. You know, I can generally determine if someone's kind of wasting their time, or they think they wish they weren't smoking. It's a nice wish. They want all the benefits, but not ready to do their part. So that's the first thing. Therapist probably didn't do a thorough assessment, didn't spend a good 15, 20, 30 minutes on the phone with you to assess whether the both of you are right for each other or whether you're right for hypnotherapy. That's the first thing. Second thing, they probably didn't give you any preparation before you went into the room to do the hypnosis. That's really important because your conscious mind is completely present during a hypnosis session. So if your conscious mind didn't get any homework before going into the room to do the hypnosis, chances are it's exactly what was standing in the way, and chances are you were saying all this stuff to yourself while you were sitting in a comfortable chair that made it not work. Things like, why aren't I asleep? This isn't working. I don't think I'm hypnotized. When is my unconscious going to be here? Your unconscious will be saying things it shouldn't be saying, basically. So if you're saying all of that while you're in the chair, then chances are you're going to walk out the room, light one up and go, well, that did nothing. It didn't work at all, kind of thing. That's possible. The other possibility is the hypnotherapist didn't spend enough time with you in the actual session to go over everything and do a very thorough job. You know, a 1 hour session, 45-minute session, 1 hour session, hour and a half even. Look, I know how complex quitting can be. And more often than not, a lot more time is needed in the room to cover all the bases of not only quitting, but what's about to happen and everything that could lead to relapse and how to avoid it, right? All those 4 things really need to be covered, which is why it's extremely rare. My sessions are anywhere less than 2 to 2.5 hours. I've spent even up to 3 hours or more with certain people because that's the time they needed. You know, most therapy, you get the time you've paid for to the minute. I'm the kind of person, and my process and this kind of therapy is the kind of therapy where you don't get the time you've paid for, you get the time you need. So if people bring things up and we need to focus more on emotional management and building resilience and managing stress, well, then that's what we're going to do, you know, and sessions can sometimes go for over 3 hours. It's rare. Usually 2 to 2.5 hours is enough, usually around the 2.5 hour mark. The other reason on the therapist side and the program side of things is maybe they're not so skilled in what they do. Look, it's possible in any profession that some people are a little better at what they do than others, you know. So some people are more skilled. They've got more, they've got those nuances that just make them, they're able to build rapport better. They have a deeper level of insight into this problem and the complexities of it. All this kind of thing, you know, not all professionals are created equal. You know, some people are a little better at what they do than others. Some people will specialize in this one problem like I do. Others will do a little bit of everything. So they can't possibly be extremely thorough in every single thing because a lot of hypnotherapists do a bit of everything. So that kind of thing too. Maybe they didn't give you the support tools you needed. This is another reason why maybe it didn't work, you know. This is more for long term though. Like I guess I'm referring more to people who walk out and will say, oh, it didn't work. Like it did nothing and I was smoking an hour later. Support tools aren't really relevant in this kind of scenario where that I've just explained, but it's important to look for a program and a therapist that's going to give you all the tools, the strategies, the techniques that if occasionally used will reduce the chances that you'll ever relapse in the future. Follow-up's important too, you know, people following up. I like to follow up for at least a month to make sure people get to the 21-day mark, you know. That's kind of the side of the hypnotherapist. I mean, maybe they're into it for the wrong reasons. Maybe they're into this area of hypnosis because it's the most lucrative. You can charge the biggest fee for one session kind of thing, as opposed to, you know, quite a few sessions. So, I mean, they're the reasons over there. Now let's look at reasons in the individual, in the client, the smoker, why they may have walked out and it didn't work. One, the obvious one, of course, is they're just not committed to doing what it takes. It's one thing to say all the right things. I really want to quit. I'll do anything. I'm so serious. I want to feel better and breathe better and save money and not kill myself. But I'm not ready to do what it takes to get that, right? Some people are looking for the silver bullet. They want the therapist to do all the heavy lifting. They're not prepared to do what it takes. And so for that mindset, nothing's going to work. They're not committed to doing what it takes. Another reason might be they're doing it for the wrong reasons. You know, I've just met someone, they don't know I smoke. I've been hiding it. Oh, my partner doesn't know. I've been hiding it from people. Or my partner's really on my back. Or my kids are. I've been given an ultimatum. It's either quit or we're done. Or the wrong reasons, basically. Or maybe, it's just money. It's just for the money, you know, it's expensive. Like, it's a good fringe benefit. It's a good side bonus for quitting, but it shouldn't be the main driving factor, you know. That's the main one, really. They're deep down, they're just not ready to do what it takes and are expecting a silver bullet. So here's the interesting thing. For the smoker who's looking for a silver bullet, they will never find one and nothing will work for them. But for the smoker who's prepared to do all the hard work, go through the trenches, go through hell, hypnosis can seem like a silver bullet because they were ready to do what it took up here and ready to go through the hard yards kind of thing. Here's another deeper, interesting thing. Sometimes people are also in the mindset of, I'm special and unique and nothing works for me. It might work for you, but you see, I'm different. We all like to feel unique and special. And it'll work. It worked for you, you and you, but not for me. Some people will actually Some people may go to a therapist with the deeper belief, and sometimes this is unconscious self-sabotage. Some will go to the therapist with a deep belief of nothing can work for me, and then they walk out and actually manifest that for themselves. Because deep down, we don't want to be wrong about our deepest beliefs. We want to be right, and we will actually look for the evidence that supports our beliefs. Even if on the surface, we'd rather not have them, if they are there and you haven't shifted them, then guess what? The therapist gave you exactly what you came for, which is more evidence that nothing works for you. Even if it's, look, I've done this for 15 years, seen 5,000 clients. Of course, it's happened to me a few times where people have walked out and said, that did nothing. Maybe they came in with the belief of, you know what, this could be unconscious, mind you, maybe it's conscious. I'm going to go see one of the best people, definitely in Sydney, maybe the country, I'd say. And even that guy wasn't able to help me. See how special I am? See, nothing will work for me. So I'm going to keep smoking and vaping, knowing I've tried everything, but nothing works for me. See how complex this all is. So, just sit with that. If you're contemplating quitting in any method, but with a therapist, really be honest with yourself. I like to think that therapists are out there because they want to help people. They have a desire to want to be of service. That's why I'm in this game anyway. It's not the only reason, but it's one of the big reasons I want to be of service, So if therapists are in that place and you've walked out and it hasn't worked or done anything, then consider these reasons. Was it the therapist or was it you? Kind of thing. Now, also, it has to be said, you got to find the missing variable in the equation of why a program hasn't worked. I mean, in my case, I've put over 5,000 people through a program I've developed over 15 years. If most of my clients were walking out and going, that didn't work, well, then obviously I would look at me and my process and go, okay, the variable in this equation must be me and on my end, because most people are walking out and saying it didn't work. But if I've put thousands of people through a process and more than 95% say, wow, I'm feeling significantly different, but then there's a few outliers that say it did nothing, then probabilistically speaking, anything's possible, but let's look at probabilities. Where is the error or where's the variable that needs to be looked at? Where is it more likely to be? With me or my program or with you? I mean, anything's possible, but probabilistically speaking, it's probably something in the client, something to consider. Anyway, I hope this has helped. Quit with Nick, like, subscribe, share. Anyone who's thinking of doing hypnosis, I'm going to go for a little walk now over there. And take care to your health. Nick from Quit with Nick. Bye.